Howdy fellas, my name is danishcowboy and welcome back to another video where today I'm going to be reading How to Succeed in MrBeast's Production. I don't know what else to do, so yeah, here we go. How to Succeed in MrBeast's Production. Alright. Hi, I'm Jimmy, MrBeast, and as the team is growing larger, I no longer get to spend as much time with everyone as I used to. The first dozen employees have had unfiltered and unlimited access to me to learn as much as they could about my vision and what I wanted. Sadly, you don't have that luxury, so I thought it would be useful to try and brain dump as much as I can into the silly little book to give new people to help bring them up to speed on everything we've learned over this past decade with this channel. We've been through a lot and chances, and most of the problems you face we've dealt with. So I genuinely believe if you attentively read and understand the knowledge here, you will be much better set up for success. So if you read this book and pass the quiz, I'll give you $1,000. I don't think that's gonna happen. Sorry in advance for all the run on the sentences and grammar issues. I'm a YouTuber, not an author. This is not a rule book. I need to kick this thing off by saying the purpose of this is not to give you a bunch of rules to follow. On top of that, I want nothing in here to be taken literally. What we do is complex and changes based on the situation. I need you to repeat this in your head 3 times. I will apply everything I read with a grain of salt. This is not an inclusive list of everything. I hope this inspires you with questions and come to us to learn more. The Prelude. I could make a separate book for creative, a separate book for production, a separate book for editors, etc. But I think that'd be dumb. Everything we do here is interconnected, and more you understand about what others are doing and trying to accomplish, the better set up for success you will be. So this will be information about all parts of MrBeast's Productions, and I advise everyone to read it in its entirety. A good example of this is James Warren, whoever that person is. He understands every single part of this company and at a deep level, and result can make decisions faster than anyone else. The stuff you'll be reading about he knows like the back of his hand. I've seen a team of 5 people work on a project for a week just to give up, and James solved it in 30 minutes. I say this is not a flex for him, but to show the power that comes when you understand everything in this book deeply. The more you know about why we do things and what we are trying to accomplish, the better off you will be. So let's start off with some basic stuff. What is your goal here? Your goal here is to make the best YouTube videos possible. Yeah! That's the #1 goal of this production company. It's not to make the best produced videos, not to make the funniest videos, not to make the best looking videos, not the highest quality videos. Absolutely. It's to make the best YouTube videos possible. He means the best when he says it's gonna be the best. Everything we want will come if we strive for that. Sounds obvious, but after 6 months in the weeds, a lot of people tend to forget what we are actually trying to achieve here. I don't care how traditional media does things. Pardon the bluntness, but this is not Hollywood, and I do not want to be Hollywood. I don't think anyone in YouTube wants to entirely be Hollywood. And if that sentence is a turn-off to you, then you're probably at the wrong job. I genuinely mean that. YouTube is the future, and I believe with every fiber of my body, it's going to keep going year over year, and in 5 years, YouTube will be bigger than anyone will have ever imagined, and I want this channel to be at the top. Which is why I say we are not Hollywood. 99% of movies or TV shows would flop on YouTube. On top of that, they'd be widely unprofitable, have no flexibility, and long lead times can't adapt to trends. We aren't here to make a small movie once or twice a year. I want to make one a week, lol. Which is why you need to be nimble and produce content our way, not the way you were taught before. If you want the highest probability of success, I beg you to learn why we do what we do at a deep level before you try to fix anything. We've done countless videos and invested hundreds of thousands of hours collectively building how we do things. I know it's not perfect, but we have a reason for how we do most stuff, and it's probably a decent one. I'd say MrBeast's work is decent. A lot of the time. The amount of hours you work is irrelevant. Before you get mad, recall the story about James solving a problem in 30 minutes. A team of 5 couldn't in a week. In that example, does it really matter how many hours they worked? Obviously. We want grinders that put in the hours, and love you guys to death that do. But at the end of the day, you will be judged on results, not hours. Oh, okay, that's fine. Never mind. We are a results-based company. Get shit done and move to the goalpost. Swearing in this document. I mean, book. That's what he calls it. I only want A players. As I type this, I realize it may not be the wisest to categorize everyone into 3 buckets, but this is how I believe we should look at everyone a part of the production team. You're either an A player, B player, or C player. There's only room in this company for A players. A players are obsessive, learn from mistakes, coachable, intelligent, don't make excuses, believe in YouTube. See the value of this company and are the best in the goddamn world at their job. B players are new people that need to be trained into A players, and C players are just average employees. That's a pretty good way of categorizing your workers. MrBeast, if you're watching this. They don't suck, but they aren't exceptional at what they do. They just exist, do whatever, and get a paycheck. They are obsessive and learning. C players are poisonous and should be transitioned to a different company immediately. It's okay if we give everyone severance, they'll be fine. That's a bit harsh if you put that down. Jeez, man. Oh. Chapter 1. Anyway. Chapter 1. What makes a YouTube video viral? Now this is the main stuff. This is the one that everyone is waiting for. This is a long paragraph. I spent basically 5 years of my life locked in a room studying virality. Oh yeah. Virality on YouTube. Some days, me and some other friends. Oh, nerds. I'm just gonna start the sentence again. Some days me and some other nerds would spend 20 hours straight studying the most minor thing. Like is there a correlation between better lighting at the start of the video and less viewer drop off. Have good lighting at the start of the video. Haha. I got lighting. Is that good enough? Or other tiny things like that. And the result of those, probably 20,000 to 30,000 hours of studying, I'd say, is a good grasp on what makes YouTube videos do well. That's a lot of studying. That's like... oh my goodness. That's gotta be like at least a year. 30,000 hours. Just imagine that on a grind. Ugh. The 3 metrics you guys need to care about is click-through rate, CTR, average view duration, AVD, and average view percentage, AVP. I already know about this. And looking at my own statistics for my own videos, a lot of that is just terrible. Oh my god. Make sure you know those abbreviations, because that's how most people will refer to them. Up first, we'll talk about CTR. This is important no matter what department you work in. CTR is basically how many people you see our thumbnail in their feeds and divided by how many that click it. Yeah, it's sorted out in a percentage. I basically can see that myself. So if 100 million people see our thumbnail and 10 million click on it, then that means 10% clicked and we have 10% CTR. Yep, that sounds totally correct. This is what dictates what we do for videos. I spent 50 hours in my front yard is lame and you wouldn't click it. But you would hypothetically click, I spent 50 hours in ketchup. Not like anyone would ever spend 50 hours in ketchup. That's just a silly idea. And it just gets everywhere. Both are relatively similar in time and effort, but the ketchup one is easily 100 times more viral. An image of someone sitting in ketchup in a bathtub is exponentially more interesting than someone sitting in their front yard. Titles are equally as important for getting someone to click. A simple way to up that CTR even more would be to title it I survived instead of I spent. That would add more intrigue and make it feel more extreme. In general, the more extreme, the better. I don't like bananas. Won't perform the same as bananas are the worst food on earth. Now, if you're in production or creative, you might be wondering, why does the title and thumbnail matter to me? Expectations is why. The title and thumbnail on the videos you will be producing is set the expectations for the viewer for your video. Imagine you clicked on a video titled World's Largest Bouncy Castle, and the thumbnail had a giant yellow bouncy castle besides a bunch of huge buildings. Then the video plays and it's not a yellow bouncy castle, it's red. It's also not the world's largest. It's also in a field with no buildings like the thumbnail. You'd feel like you were lied to and click off because the video did not meet up the expectations of the title/thumbnail. I kind of went off the page a little bit. Whoops. This is where you must know the title and thumbnails of the videos you are making. Sorry if I had to. How can you know how to start your... Whoa. How can you know how to start your videos? If you don't even know what expectations the viewers have of you. Now let's jump over to the second metric that matters. AVD, average view duration. This is how long on average people watch a given video. The cool thing about YouTube is that they give us a super detailed graph for every video that shows exact second we lose a viewer on every single video. And here is real stats for an actual for one of his videos. You can see it just started off pretty good. 69% in the first 30 seconds. See that blue line in the image above? That represents the attention span of the 60 million people that clicked on this video. Damn. It's crazy, but we can see exactly when every single person who clicked on this video clicks off. As with almost every YouTube video on YouTube, the first minute has the most loss. Like always. This is why we freak out so much about the first minute and go so above and beyond to make it the best we frickin' can. On this particular, we lost 21 million viewers. On this particular video, we lost 21 million views in the first minute of the video. Sorry about that. Which surprisingly, compared to other channels, is above average. And could have been much worse. Let's say the start of the video wasn't well lit. I didn't match the expectations of the clickbait, and I didn't pre-plan what I'd say, and we didn't front load some interesting stuff for the first minute of content. We would have lost much less than 21 million people because it wouldn't have even got 21 million views. LOL. But if the views were hypothetically fixed, then instead of having 39 million viewers at the 1 minute mark, it would be more like 20 million viewers. The first minute of each video is the most important minute of each video. Exactly. After the first minute of content, you will have what we call minutes 1 through 3. This is where you have to transition from hype to execution, generally. Stop telling people that they will be watching and start showing them. An example of a 1 through 3 minute tactic we would use is a crazy progression. Let's say we have 10 minute video about a guy surviving weeks in a woods. Instead of making the first 3 minutes of the video about his first day, then progressing from there like a logical filmmaker would, we try to cover multiple days in the first 3 minutes of the video, so the viewer isn't super invested in the story. They've seen this man survive multiple days in the woods and emotionally now want to see on how much further he can go. We also want to do something around the 3 minute mark called a 3 minute re-engagement. A re-engagement can be described as a content that is highly interested and fits the story and makes people genuinely impressed. Another way to look at this is a segment that only MrBeast can do this. It's important to re-engage the viewer around this time because they could get bored of the story and click off. And with my videos, most people seem to click off because I'm such a boring person. These re-engagements are usually spectacles and sometimes need a lot of time and money to get to perfect. A good example of re-engagement is when Carl was put in charge of watching Josh in the $10,000 Everyday You Survive prison video. Following the first minute, then minutes 1 through 3 is obviously what we call minute 3 through minute 6, and it's the next most important part of the video. This is where you plan out all the most exciting and interesting content that is also very simple. This includes lots of quick scene changes and highly stimulating simple content that reflects the story. The goal is to make them fall in love with the story. The people in the video and the overall video itself, if we can get them to watch the first half of the video, is a very high chance they'll watch to the end. Usually at the 6-minute mark, we would include another re-engagement that is highly interesting but needs a little more explanation and will push the story into the back half of the video. And lastly, we don't have to... Wait. And lastly, we have what we call the back half content. We have to be careful writing this because I don't want to ever think for a second I am okay with content being subpar. Many videos have been killed because the back half content was ass, lol. But in general, once you have someone for 6 minutes, they are super invested in the story and probably in what I call a LULL. They are watching the video without even realizing that they are watching a video. It happens literally with most people whenever they watch YouTube videos. Typically, the not as good content would be in the back half of the video. Don't ever signal the end of the video, well, unless it's to build hype for the prizes or payoff at the end of the video. It's also where long explanation bits can live if something unexpected happens or things don't go to plan. That can be turned into content. Yes! Oh. The above paragraphs are why you'll hear us ask what minute mark in the video you are working on is. Whether it's production, creative, or editing, you must always know what minute mark the content you are working on is. If you don't, then you're not doing it right. I've probably never edited my videos correctly. Then I just whipped out a calculator and combined the seconds of content of our last 100 videos is 81,801 seconds, which divided by 100 means the average MrBeast video is 818 seconds or 13 minutes and 37 seconds. Wow. Some are shorter, like when we do like a real-time shoot or something more emotional and don't want it dragged out. And some are longer, giant spectacles like giving away an island as an example, but 30 minutes is the average you are expected to know when producing which minute of that 30 minutes you're going to be working on. And since we're on that topic of retention graphs, here is a cool visual. That's from like the official YouTube website. The last of the 3 trackable metrics that matters to virality is AVP. And to be honest, this doesn't matter as much to you. Usually the length of the video will be decided by me or Tyler. I just need you to make people watch as long as possible. Another untrackable thing about virality I'd like you to know is what we call the wow factor, and it's definitely the most subjective. You can check all the above boxes for CTR and AVD, but the video still do for us. An example of wow factor would be our 100 days in the circle video. That's a pretty good video, by the way. An example of we offered someone $500,000 if they could live in a circle or in a field for 100 days, and instead of starting with his house in a circle that he would live in, we'd bring it on a crane 30 seconds into the video. Why? Because who the fuck else on YouTube can do that, lol. The fact that we lifted the house on a crane didn't add anything to the title and the thumbnail. It obviously hooked the viewers and helped retention, but there are millions of ways it could have done that easier. It's likely to be, from a data standpoint, illogical and waste of time, but the impression it leaves on the viewer is invaluable for us. Anytime we do something that no other creator can do, that separates us in their minds and makes our videos more special to them, it changes how they see us, and it does make them watch more videos and engage more with the brand. You can't track the wow factor, but I can describe it. anything that no other YouTuber can do, and it's important we never lose our wow.
Wow.
Chapter 2, creating content. For this next part, I'm gonna write about actually creating content. I'm not gonna talk about any production system in particular, because the way we run this production changes almost every year. I just want to pass on things I see new people typically fail at in general and what I want. Our videos are hard, and you took the difficulty of our videos and trendlined it over time. You'd see they are only getting harder. This is why I want the best in the world and people who are obsessed. If you're not growing, eventually the difficulties of the videos will outgrow you. Whether it be production, creative, camera, or editing, I want you to be obsessed with YouTube. Get rid of Netflix and Hulu and watch tons of YouTube. It will without a doubt, in my mind, make you more successful here. The more invested you are in our world of YouTube, the more you will understand the trends. How we can stand out and be more original, what we could do better, etc. You should also really watch every MrBeast video on all the channels. I'm not gonna do that. There are so many. There's like 1,000. Sounds obvious, but I've asked multiple people this week, a long time ago, what they thought about last week's gaming video, and not a single person had seen it. Probably because you don't even upload there anymore, MrBeast. On top of learning from watching YouTube, I'd love for you to read the goal. If you haven't already, I'd use to make everyone read it. I know bottlenecks are obvious, and it will sound like I'm talking to 10-year-olds sometimes, but just not knowing and understanding something as simple as bottlenecks has fucked tons of videos. You all should deeply understand the work stream for when a video hits the calendar and when it is filmed. I don't have the best track of record for making the video, filming calendar super far out and sticking with it. Let's say you're in production and a video you're assigned is to put up 45 days out. A lot of things need to happen before you can start working on it. The big things would probably be you need a thumbnail sketch and creative on your team to write the video. Do not just go to them and say, I need creative, let me know when it's done, and I need a thumbnail, let me know when it's done. This is what most people do, and it's one of the reasons why we fail so much. Precisely. Moving on. I want you to look further. I want you to look them in the eyes and tell them that they are the bottleneck, and take them a step further and explain they are the bottleneck, so both of you are on the same page. Tyler, you are my bottleneck. I have 45 days to make this video happen, and I cannot begin work on it until I know what the contents of the video is. I need you to confirm you understand this is important, and we need to set a date on when the creative will be done. Now, this person who also has tons of shit going on, is aware of how important this discussion is, and you guys can prior it accordingly. Now, let's say Tyler and you agree it will be done in 5 days.
You don't get to set a reminder for 5 days and not talk to him for 5 days.
That sounds a bit cruel. Every single day you must check in on Tyler and make sure he is still on track to hit the target date. I want less excuses in this company. Take ownership and don't give your project a chance to fail. Dumping a bottleneck onto someone and then just walking away until it's done is lazy, and it gives room for error, and I want you to have the mindset of God himself. I'm not religious, sorry. Couldn't stop you from making the video on time. Check in daily Leave no room for error. Every single one of those words has a full stop in it. You gotta do it. Okay. For this next part, I just want to brain dump and about random things and explain why we do say certain things. If you understand all of this, then you'll be in a good spot. Like, seriously, these are the cheat codes, and you should take them to heart. Video everything. I really want us to see producing a team job, not a solo thing. Which is why it is important for you video everything critical, and also anything you think people would ask about. Let's say you go to a scout and set up for a video in a month while the rest of your team is working on this week's video. Most people just go to scout the set, maybe grab a photo and walk around, maybe try to grab a good mental model of it. Then a week later you come back, this video is now Tyler's main focus, and he starts asking questions about the set, and you can't quite recall. The questions get more and more detailed, and all you have to go off is what's in your mind. The rest of your production team also needs to start planning bits, but they don't know what it looks like, and it's a shit show. This is why we say video everything, which is more important, that one person has a good mental grip of something, or that their entire team of 10 people have a good mental grip on something. Obviously, the team. And the easiest way to bring your team up to the same page is to the freaking video, and everything store it where they can constantly reference it. A lot of problems can be solved if we just the video sets and ask for videos when ordering things, especially because I am a visual guy, and I always ask to see what things look like. So even for me, videos are valuable. Video everything. Say the negatives. Title says it all. Don't just tell people on your team or me why something is good. It's definitely more valuable to tell us why it is not good. I found the castle we need for the video, but it's booked all year. Over budget, and someone died in it last week. It's your fault. Track the contractor. I know I already talked about this, but if there is one thing I'd really love to impulse on you from this writing, it's that you can't just dump and forget your projects. I can't stand when people dump and forget their projects on a contractor, and then the day before the shoot blame them for when it's not ready. That's on you, not the contractor. Let's say we are building the world's largest water balloon, and you need someone to make a giant wooden stand for it to sit on. Most people here would just call someone like JB and have him do it and tell him to be done by filming day. Instead, you should really have it done at a certain time frame in advance. You need to use your own intelligence based on the project to determine that, in case something is off, and we can make changes. And you need to then decide whether or not it is a critical component. If it is, you should also begin working on a backup net. And while working on a backup, you should check in with JB every single day. Ask him to send videos every day to spot problems early. Maybe talk to him twice a day. I don't care. Just leave room for error. Just don't leave room for error. No excuses, stop leaving room for error, check in daily, receive videos, and know weeks in advance if you're fucked. Not days. I am not always right. Shocker, I know. I'm young, and I'll be the first to admit I'm not perfect. I promise not a single person on this planet wants us to succeed more than I do, and no matter how much you work, you will never invest more time into this and company than I will. But I can't promise I'll always be right. Having said that, there are ways you can help me be right and more often. For starters, you need to understand the world I'm in and how my mind works. The book in particular is for our production company, which by the way is the most important company and allows everything else to succeed. Without the videos, everything else dies. But it's not all I have going on. I have to be the main talent for every gaming video, every Reacts video, every philanthropy. I'll just go philanthropy video, every TikTok, every Insta post, and every main channel video, which is basically 3 full-time jobs all by itself. That sounds like a complete nightmare. Little things like sending videos to people for birthdays, attending events, networking, etc. all add up because I'm the face of the channel. On top of it, being the main talent, I have to work with each channel to make sure that the creatives are always evolving and not getting stale, and in general, being a visionary for them. Basically, running 4 channels at a high level better than anyone else in the world can run one. We also have a Beast Burger and Feastables, and I still have to set the vision that be the lead creative. Yeah. It must be tiring doing all of that. On top of that, we dub our channels in other languages, and we run a translation company that works with other channels as well. I also, multiple times a week, I have to call other YouTubers and see what they are testing/doing, so I can always stay up to date and make sure we aren't missing anything. AKA, you need me networking a lot. What I'm trying to say is I have to run 4 channels, 3 businesses, a charity, a network/maintain our image, all at the same time. My goodness. Oh, I can barely run 1 channel, thank you very much. So when you need something for me, and you have to understand that I'm probably not as knowledgeable about a video as you, whatever you don't tell me, I don't know. When getting an answer from me it's ideal, you do the research and come to me with context and options, instead of saying, in a coming up video we are giving away a car, do you think this Lexus is only $10,000? Which is how 99% of the questions are asked towards me. Do this instead. We have a coming up would you rather video. One of the bits at the 6 to 9 minute mark, we will be giving away a car. We are still on a budget, and the budget for the car is $10,000. I have checked with PM. It could go up another 5k if you really wanted. I searched all of NC. NC is North Carolina, by the way, for cool ass cars around the price point, and here are 5 I found and got pre-approved by the creative budget. I also got 5 other backup options that are less cool looking and more average if you're going for that. Here's a picture of all the other 10 cars, the miles on the cars, and all the information you'd want. Which of these cars do you think is best, or should I get other options? That sounds like a pretty good statement to ask MrBeast about any sort of question. If you want to look like you're doing your job and don't care about the success of the video, ask me questions like in the first example. If you want to take accountability and make your videos happen with a high probability of success, do the second option. This doesn't just apply to me, it applies to anyone high up you expect to make a decision. Critical components. Critical components are the things that are essential to your video. If I want to put 100 people on an island and give it away to one of them, then securing an island is critical. It's a critical component. It doesn't matter how well planned the challenges on the island are, how good the weather is, etc. Without the island, there is no video. Hence, it is a critical component, and another example of a critical component would be either title and thumbnail. Remember that bouncy castle story from earlier? Yeah. How the thumbnail and the yellow bouncy castle from the video. Wait. But the video, a red one, the thumbnails of the video as you're producing can also create critical components. A third example of a critical component would be if the creative on your team is pitched me a video of 10 challenges and I said, I like the video, but mostly because of challenge 3 and 7, I hate the video without them. Challenge 3 and 7 are now essential to your video and thus critical components. Critical components can come from literally anywhere, and once something you're working on is labeled as such, your treat is like your baby. Without what you're working on, we do not have a video. Just gotta repeat that a couple of times. Get it in people's minds. Protect it at all costs. Check in on it 10 times a day. Obsess over it. Make a backup. If it requires shipping, pay someone and pick it up and drive it. Don't trust standard shipping. Why not? It's amazing. And speak up the second anything goes wrong. The literal second. Never coin flip a critical component. That means you are coin flipping the video, aka $1 million+, and always bring me or James earlier than later. Communication lines. It is very important as a company we maintain proper communication lines on a set and offset. There is always someone responsible for everything on the video, and if multiple people are responsible for the same thing, then that's a problem that needs to be fixed immediately. Ideally, when communicating across departments and you go up and then over, if you skip, you just go below your prezimus, then call and let the people in charge know. Let's say you're in a production coordinator and call the writer and tell them you need some bits about a sandwich being cooked with lava. Seems harmless, except now Tyler, head of creative, has no idea what his writer is working on, and worse, doesn't know that's an option when he directs the video. Will, head of production, also has no idea because this has been set into the motion and when planning and tracking the progress of the video, doesn't know to account for this. Willie later finds out about it and is that eye supposed to be there? Will later finds out about it and assumes Tyler approved the bit and starts planning on how to make lava, and then wastes 3 days making lava until Tyler catches wind and Tyler asks her why she's making lava, and she has no idea, and everyone is confused. This is what happens when you don't follow proper communication lines. If when this bit it was requested, Tyler and Ali were called first. Days of bullshit, and we would have been saved. Seems simple, but it happens dozens of times a week and causes tons of double and triple work. Creativity saves money. I don't think it comes as a surprise when I say we don't have unlimited money here. We can't have every video constantly going over budget because the money has to come from somewhere, but you're in a tough spot because I constantly want better and better videos. A lot of people who work here have definitely thought before, if Jimmy wants us to be on budget, then why does he keep asking us to do so many expensive things? Or, I know Jimmy, he won't like this, so I need to spend more money. People always assume money is the answer, and if we just spend more money and we can give Jimmy what he wants, which is wrong. Creativity is the answer. Here is an example I use all the time with our gaming team. They love to give away money every video, but which sounds cooler to you as a surprise, as a prize for a gaming video. $20,000 or a year's supply of Doritos. To me, Doritos is so much funnier, and I think our audience would find it fucking hilarious. So let's say we define a year's supply of Doritos by 5 packs of Doritos a day for 365 days. That'll be 1,825 packs of Doritos, and a quick Google search shows you can buy a pack of Doritos for less than a $1, but we can round that up and just say $1 per pack for a pack for Doritos. Our price for that video just went from $20,000 down to $1,825, because we didn't just throw away money at the problem, and we used creativity. This applies to everything, every single one of you do, whether it be finding a crane for a video, deciding prices, picking locations, finding critical components, or doing the most minuscule thing. Use creativity to save money, because every dollar we save allows me to give you the guys more stability and hire more people to make your life easier. If you want to succeed here, then say this 10 times in your head: creativity saves money. I'm not going to, because I do not work for MrBeast. Always have a backup day. No one will ever have 100% success rate when it comes to filming our videos on time and on budget. It's impossible. But you can still do certain things to increase the probability of success, and one of the easiest but most overlooked is having a backup day. When you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars securing a set, renting a tank, etc., make sure you have the ability to extend them in case something goes wrong. It might not even be your video. Something might go wrong on gaming, and now I need to slide your video a day to make up for it. I'd also rather have a hypothetical 90% cool looking tank with a dope owner who is making life easier on us, letting me do whatever I want, and the ability to pay extra to add a day, than 100% cool looking tank, but the owner is micromanages and what we do, and there is no backup day. The example is obvious, just throwing it out there to inspire you. Always check with creative before you do something like this, but backup days are necessarily, and ideally we work with people that see values in us and love us, so they will be even more flexible. I'm so sorry if I'm struggling with words here. I'm getting so tired. But I'm still gonna carry on with this video, I swear. Don't take anything at face value, always dig. One of the most common themes you're probably seeing is accountability, and this doubles down on that. Don't take anything at face value, always dig. This is particularly important when dealing with people outside MrBeast's production team. If someone says something is too good to be true, find out why. If it's fishy, investigate. If you need 10,000 pillows by next week and you called 10 pillow companies and none have more than a few hundred in stock, but then the 11th company you magically has 10,000 pillows, investigate. Are they drop shipping? Are the pillows shitty? Why the fuck does no one want your pillows? Push and get their answers. What tends to happen is people think their job is done by finding the 10k pillows and just order them only for us to find problems. With them arrive, but it's too close to the filming window to fix it. Do not overly trust people outside of the company. Investigate and verify what they say, or it is your fault if they don't pull through. Oh, my throat is dry now. Higher forms of communication. If you spend any amount of time with James, you'll hear him bring up higher forms of communication a lot, because it is important and somehow very overlooked by most people. The worst thing you could ever do is, when you need something for your critical component, is email someone at the company. The best is to talk to them in real life. It is very important, you know, when to call people for stuff, grab them in real life, and when to text them. The lower the form of the communication, the more miscommunication you will face. As I'm typing this, you have no idea if I'm laughing, smiling, happy, mad, or sad. Well, I can't tell. You can't read my body language or my face, and because of that, it's not guaranteed if you'll understand what I'm conveying. Need my loo paper in the bathroom? Absolutely. A text is probably fine. 1 week out of the video and the thing you're working out just went south. Minimum, I'm also way call with the heads of the video. Ideally, grab them in real life if you can. The more complex what needs to be said is, the higher the form of communication you should use. Call first and then text if they don't answer. Well, that's not entirely trustable. I'd much rather text first. And if they don't respond, then I'll just call. Since we are on the topic of communication, written communication also does not constitute communication unless they confirm they read it. Own your mistakes. I hate excuses, and I despise with my entire soul when people just try to save face instead of learn from how they mess up. Mistakes are okay. Genuinely. They are, and I expect you to make a lot. That's perfectly fine. Every veteran here has cost me $1 million at one point or another, and you have them yourself, and you have to go ask them yourself if I ever held it over their heads. The reason I'm okay with fuck ups is because I know that how you can learn. I see it as me investing in you and your brain. Hence why I have zero tolerance for C players, and they must go immediately. Those fuck ups could be done by an A player, but that will retain the information learned. I just beg you that you learn from every mistake and will try not to repeat it. That's when it gets annoying. I've never ever once fired someone on the spot for messing up. You have nothing to be afraid of. Own shit so we can address how to fix it and then move on. Nothing comes to you before your priors. When you're being assigned tasks, you should have what we call a prior list. If Ali says your priors are to 1. Get a Lamborghini under 200k. 2. Get it wrapped in anime characters. That's a weird wrapping paper. 3. Make a custom steering wheel. Then nothing is on this freaking planet that is allowed to come between you and getting those priors done. If the other team asks you for help and you spend 2 days helping them and fall behind and getting a Lamborghini secured, that's your fault. If the studio is burning down and you stop working to put out the fire and don't get the Lamborghini, that's your fault. Jokes aside. Jokes. But seriously, don't let anything come before your priors. I'm gonna take a bit of a break. Alright, I'm back. Got myself a drink. Feel so much relieved now. Use consultants. Consultants are literally cheat codes. Need to make the world's largest slice of cake? Start off by calling the person who made the previous world's largest slice of cake, lol. He's already done the countless tests and can save you weeks worth of work. I really want you to drill this point home because I am a massive believer in consultants. Because I have spent almost a decade of my life hyper obsessing over YouTube, I can show you a brand new creator how to get from 100 to 10,000 subscribers in a month. Oh yeah. On their own, it would take them years to do it. Consults are a gift from, I'm not religious again. Please take advantage of them. In every single freaking task assigned to you, you're always ask yourself in first if you can find a consultant to help you. I've never got like any sort of consultant in my life to help me with YouTube videos. I've just went with it, and I've massively improved without any help. Without any sort of major help whatsoever. Isn't that amazing? This is so important as I am demanding you to repeat this 3 times in your head. I will always check for consultants when I'm assigned a task. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna repeat that in my head. Alright, fine, whatever. Ugh, moving on. Math, science, vision, approval, budgets. Everything you need can be solved by one of the 5 things above. Use math, science, vision, approvals, or budget. I literally have like no budget making my own videos. No does not mean no. It means yes. When dealing with people outside of MrBeast's Productions, never take no at face value. If we need a store to buy everything inside of, and you call the local Dollar Tree and the person that also says no, you can't film here, that literally doesn't mean shit. Talk to other employees and see if they are fans or if they have kids that are fans, or try talking to their boss. Their boss have me DM them on Twitter and try their social team, etc. If after all avenues are exhausted and you are left with a no, that doesn't mean you can try all the other Dollar Trees, because the manager of those could be huge fans and willing to bend their rules. Basically what I'm trying to convey is what we call pushing through now. Don't just stop because one person told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. This is one of many thoughts that combine dramatically improve your probability of success when producing here. Work on multiple videos every day. Please do not come in and only work on one video during the workday. That's how you fall behind on the future videos and create a nasty cycle I'm trying to stop. If you drop everything and go all in on a video for 3 days, and that's 3 days, your other videos will fall behind, and eventually you have to drop other videos to focus on those videos, and it will snowball into you, and you can't do anything but focus on what's right in front of you, because you murdered any lead time you had. If you had ever only worked on one video during the day, you failed as a MrBeast employee for that day. Well, I'm so glad I'm not going to be picking that as an option. Be able to hold a camera. I can hold a camera. I want a better one. Oh, it's all stored away, unfortunately. But yeah, obviously everyone has their roles in the company, and to be honest, if you can consistently lead and produce videos for me with a 90% success rate, I don't care. If you piss in the sink every day, I still love you. Sorry. No. But having that said, it'd be nice if at some point you got training on our style of holding a camera. When you do a big shoot, not local, it's nice to not bring 10 million production people and 100,000 camera people. That just sounds ridiculous. If, for example, there are only a few scenes and that need a couple of extra cameramen, and I'd love for us to not have a fly, house, transport, and maybe more camera than, and we could just have a few people from the production or creative help from those overflow scenes, because typically the more cameramen are filming and less important each other becomes. 1 out of 10, 10 out of 10. 1 out of 10 is good, 10 out of 10 is bad. YouTube has a feature that compares a new upload's performance to the previous 9 videos and tells you how the views rank in the first hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, etc. This is what it looks like. Actual data. Oh my goodness, it just about fits. Like, damn, 198 million views within the first 44 days. Hell yeah. That's amazing. And then here's a bottom performing video on the MrBeast's gaming channel. So if you hear someone ask what's a video out of 10, this is what they are asking for. Makes sense. Random things you should know. I'm almost done with this chapter, and then we can move on to the creative. But before we do, I still have tons of notes around producing content, and I can't really break into their own sections. So I want to rapid fire them here, so at least you can hear once before starting a journey. Do not leave contestants waiting in the sun. Ideally waiting in general for more than 3 hours. Squid Game, it cost us $500,000, and Boys vs. Girls, it got a lot of people out. Us dreams to know more. Well, I won't be able to contact this James guy. Because I don't work for MrBeast, so how many times do I have to say it? Spectacles are video that only MrBeast channel can do. Not every video should be a spectacle, and we realize these videos are hard. That's the point. I hate having tons of people on the set. If someone is necessary, then that's fine, but if not, kick them off the set or have them go watch from behind a monitor. Create an environment where the contestants also feel natural. I'd rather be honest with each other, and nice to be each other. Do not talk down to talent or do anything to make them feel like shit. I do need them to be happy and in good moods, and those boys are special to me. Ideally, most talks of the talent, Carl, Chandler, Nolan, go through me, you, Tyler, or avoid confusion amongst them. Me like simple. The simpler is better. Apply with a grain of salt. We pivot a lot. We be ready to have everything flipped on its head and at a moment's notice, lol. I want money spent on... I want money to spend to be shown on camera. Ideally, if you're spending over $10,000 on something and it won't be shown on camera, seriously think about it. Work with intensity. Push out words, not inwards. Put on icers before the shoot, so you don't have to days before the shoot. If something goes wrong on the shoot, always check to see if it can be made into content. A tree falls over on your car and breaks 100 vases where you needed to give away. That's fucking hilarious, and we should mention it in the video though. Feasibly, it is working to see if the critical components of a video are actually possible. Example would be if I wanted to play hide and seek in the world's largest building. If you did feasibly on this, and basically means you're trying to see if it's possible to get that building. If you do, then we have a video and it should go into production. If you can't, then that's why it was in feasibly, and no one should else waste their time. Never do anything that could make us look bad from a PR perspective. We often do renderings of sets to see what they look like beforehand, which is amazing and helps a lot of cause. I'm very visual and gets the whole team on the same page. When doing these renders though, I want to make sure you know the difference between a pre-viz and a concept. Please do not refer a render as a pre-viz unless it is actually what we plan on building. It is just a render for inspiration and is not building locked. Call it a concept. This will greatly help with confusion. In my opinion, many people wave around a concept, but call it a previs and people see it expecting that to be what builds, only to find out later what that was a concept and the actual set is much different. Chapter 3. Creative. We are a creative first production company, because when creative leads the vision of the shoot, the product is always better. So I think it's important you understand you all understand creative. It's what drives everything we do and heart of our content. Being creative is understanding, and what makes us good content is like cheat codes when in production, camera, and obviously editing. Let's take production for example. Let's say you are tasked with finding a castle to live in for 50 hours, and while you're doing the research, you find a castle and a number to call for the owner. So you do call and he answers. Only problem is he says he quit the castle renting business to pursue his dream building a 100-foot tall Lego catapult. You can obviously tell where I'm going with this. Ideally, you'd recognize a badass as a fuck and try to convince him to let us see it when we do find a castle. This is a bad example because it's so obvious, but if you're doing your job right, then you'll be doing an absurd amount of calls and data collecting. While trying to complete your browse and prepare for the video, you should always be on the lookout for new things and bring your creative team to inspire them. Because just like me, they don't know what they don't, and you can't just say I'm in production and I'm not very creative, because that's literally the equivalent of saying I suck at what I do. You also need to apply the same mindset with the problem solving, because many people lose sight of this stuff, and when in the weeds, if a problem appears, always ask yourself in the new plan what's the best for creative, not just the easiest band-aid. What is the goal of our content? Well, his content, not mine. To excite me. The goal of our content is to excite me. That may sound weird to some of you, especially if you're new to me, but it's what is most important. If I'm not excited to get in front of the camera and film the video, it's simply not going to happen. I'm not fake, and I will be authentic. That's partly why my channel does so well. And if I'm not excited by the video, we're fucked. Luckily, I'd say I'm a pretty predictable guy, at least in this regard. What excites me is that I believe it will make me happy, make the audience happy. That's what it always has been and what always be. I'm willing to count on 100,000, bury myself alive, or walk a marathon in the world's largest pair of shoes if I must. Oh, those are amazing videos. Watch them all. I just want to do what makes me happy, and ultimately make the viewers happy. This channel is my baby, and I've given my life for it. Really? Come on, it's not your whole life. Like, you have to like MrBeast, he has to like retire at some point, so he's not going to be running the channel forever. I'm so emotionally connected to it, and it's sad, lol. But it's one thing I will never compromise on. I have zero issues throwing away a multi-million-dollar video if I don't think it's up to my standards, is good for the audience. We must always be improving and innovating. The camera angles need to always get better. The pacing, the story, the jokes, the color, the lighting, the music, the props, the people, our framing, our ideas, and everything must always be improving and innovating, because that is what excites me. That literally is what I live for, and I see those videos get better and better, and ultimately makes the viewers happy. What makes good content? This is where things get subjective, and my brain is probably going to turn into mush. The problem with that is that I'm writing here is that the good content is limitless. Literally anything can make good content. Let's take a baby doll for example. You can see who can throw it the farthest with the left hand, and of a group of 5 people. Watching them throw a baby doll with their bad hand and funny sound effects is fucking hilarious. You can also get the opposite route and have 1,000 baby dolls and see how many it takes for someone to throw it into a crib 200 feet away. Or you can see on how many baby dolls it would take to break a 2x4 in half. The point I'm trying to convey here is that even something as simple as a baby doll has an infinite amount of ways you can turn it into an amazing, original, and funny content. That's one of the secret weapons of MrBeast's Productions. We aren't stuck in any old ways of thinking, and you can literally turn anything into good content. Good content can be anything. Always have an open mind and never stop innovating. Having said, this is YouTube and there are constraints. You know, the video can't be a minute, so you're obviously going to need a story to hold the videos, and the rules to storytelling. Our audience is massive. because of that, and you have to be simple. For 50 million people to understand something must be simple. Content can be anything, but there is structure and rules that we must mold into that I want to teach you about, because virality doesn't just happen. Every frame of our videos will be seen by tens of millions of people. It's hundreds of millions now. Can't you believe it? MrBeast just simply continues to move up in the game. How to measure the success of content? Like I said at the start of this, metrics you care about in regards to virality are CTR, AVD, and AVP. If you want to know if the contents of a video are good, just look at the AVD and AVP of a video after we upload it, because based on how long the people watch it and what percentage of the video they watched, you can clearly see they enjoyed it. To show this in action, below is the retention data of 2 separate videos of almost identical length from the channel. All AVD and AVP data is, as I show you, will be the first data to make it apples to apples. If you don't know what this means, then okay, mostly in case Mario gets it down on his whatever. One video has 120 million views and the other only has 45 million. Look at these retention numbers and see if you can pick which one got triple the views. Oh wow. Obviously this one, because it's got a bigger drop rate. You see that? Okay, it says the answer is a lower image. The average people watch this video is a minute and 38 seconds longer than the other video of the same length. Of course, it got triple the views. It is clear that as day for YouTube that people liked this video much more. For your videos to do so well, you must get their AVD and AVP as high as possible. The longer people watch, the better a video will do. This is why I am such a stickler about every single second of content. Hook people at the start of the video, transition them to an amazing story, and they are invested in. They have no dull moments, and them have satisfying payoffs at the end of the video with an abrupt ending. Formats. One way to boost retention on a video is to have a good format for the video to follow. Let's use our popular Last to Leave series as an example. These videos have many reasons why they do well but one in particular is the payoff at the end. You see, once you start watching a Last to Leave, you get invested in the progress and the challenge. You really want to see who leaves the circle last and wins the $100,000. Luckily, the winner isn't revealed until the end of the video, so as long as we don't make the video boring as hell, people are very likely to stick around until the end. Strong payoffs at the end of the video will boost retention, but obviously Last to Leave isn't our only format. Another example of format is what I like to call stair stepping. A good example of this is I bought the world's largest firework. This video opens up with us showing up all the fireworks and then lighting a $1 firework, then a $10, then a $50, then a $375, then a $1,000, then $10,000. Then we did some content, then 40,000, then 100,000. And then the world record. As you get deeper into the video, the stakes get higher. The payoff for the world record at the end is such a beautiful format, as it allows you to deviate if you want, as long as things progressively get cooler. I fucking love stair stepping. Another format would be the ones where I get chased by like a bounty hunter, military, FBI, just like the Less to Leave challenges. You know, you don't know until the end of the video what the result is. Will they catch me? Will I get away? Gotta watch until the end. Throughout the history of this channel, we've been through many formats. A big one back in the day was donating to Twitch streamers, and people loved them. I'd go into random streams and donate 10k to streamers to see how they react. All in, we did like 12 of them, and when I stopped, people still begged for more, and that's because Steve Jobs says, people don't know what they want. The viewer may think they want a format forever, but they don't. They want new and fresh things. This is evident because every channel rehashes the formats for years, always dies. This is why I'm constantly ditching formats in exchange for new ones. Ideally, 2 videos from the same format are not back to back. I like multiple different videos between them if possible. Who is our audience? Here is a screenshot from the back end. Europe is a big percentage, but it's broken up the country, so it doesn't seem like it. 36.9 people from the United States, which is usual. Like, he's an English speaking creator. There are a lot of English speaking people from the US. United Kingdom, 7%. India comes in close call. Damn. That's followed by Philippines. And then Canada, 5th. That's amazing. Age and gender, mostly male audience. And that's all the years. And this is from MrBeast's perspective. That's incredible. Our content is consumed by everyone at this point. Kids watch the videos with their mom, even though our female viewership is only 30%. That's still a 9-figure per month view. There's still a 9-figure views a month from women, and it's worldwide. But not worldwide. 50% plus is still America and Europe. But despite saying all that, at its core, if I had to describe it, I'd say the average MrBeast viewer is a teenage member that likes video games. Like me, I like video games. I haven't watched a single MrBeast upload in like a month now. You should watch our videos. If you're going to be working for the Beast brand, you should be a fan of the Beast brand. A lot of very valuable knowledge comes whilst watching vast amounts of our videos. I feel silly for having to write this all the time, but I talk to new people that seem like 5 or 6 of our videos is mind-blowing, and they don't see a problem with that load. As I said earlier, I'd love you to watch all the channels, but especially the main channel, seeing on how you're working on it to get 60% up at the speed. I'd watch our last 50-ish videos. If you're a monster and really want to understand the history of the company, then innovations we've been through, I'd recommend you watch every single video back until you hit the 10 million subscriber special. That was 2018. Well, no. Oh my word. Anything before that is a waste of time, in my opinion. What? Not even videos like I bought every billboard in my city. That was a fire video. Like, genuinely. Promoting PewDiePie. That had such a massive impact. If you've seen every video we've made since 10 mil, then you will have a lot of context and information others don't, and it will make you that much more valuable. brand deals are content. If you don't watch a lot of YouTube and probably notice that when someone does a brand deal, it's boring and sound like they're reading a script. We take a different approach to brand deals. We like to integrate them into the content so it doesn't nuke our retention and boost conversion. Remember that I told you we could see the exact moment when video viewers click off our videos. Here is a retention chart for when we used to do brand deals the old way. Yeah, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that dip. Ooh. Notice the creator where the brand deal is. That means people skipped it and also clicked off the video. Now here is a retention chart with the new style brand deal in it. Wow. That is such a massive difference. I would still skip all the brand deals that all these YouTubers do, because I'm either not interested or really like it. The dip is a way less dramatic, and for the most part something I can live with. Help fund the videos. Brand deals are content, and when treated as such boost retention, we need to make them entertaining. Also, fun fact: the last CEO that sponsored a video said that the return of a 1.7x the return they get that NFL championship they game at. He said that the NFL commercial, you get a giant spike of customers day one, and then it disappears forever. And that's where a brand deal with us, you get a huge spike for a few days, and then it settles down, and then respike when we upload again. Because after they watch the new video, they go back and watch the video before it, and even after that, our videos typically get millions views plus a month for years, aka tons of residual customers. Understand culture. What you consume on social media is when you watch on YouTube, TV, the games you play, etc. I like to call your information diet. I'm not going to mention that person's name. I'm just going to skip that sentence. So how do you learn more from about what's out there in the world? How do you stay up to date on the latest memes? How do you know what's going on with celebrities? What's trending on YouTube? What other creators are doing? What's popping on TikTok? Your information diet. Consume things daily on a daily basis and help you write better content. It's okay for the boys to be childish. If talent wants to draw a dick on the whiteboard in the video or do something stupid, let them. Assuming they know all risks aren't missing the context on why it's not safe. People, like when we are in a natural element of stupidity, really do everything you can empower the boys to when filming and help them make content. Help them be idiots. We don't fake things. Make sure to prep contestants and try to create an environment where they feel comfortable talking. If you wrote a banger piece of content, but it is a 50-50 chance of working, write another piece of content. Content is limited, don't be lazy. Run your content by as many people as possible for inspiration. How you could make it even better. I want famous people in our videos. Don't ever put me in a situation where I have to lie, because I won't, and it will screw the video. No dull moments in the videos. You can't fake intensity in the videos. The video endings must always be abrupt to protect retention. This isn't really a creative thing, but in general, when on set and attention is engaged, filming days are stressful enough. Be useful, please. Chapter 4, your career. If you've made it this far, you're probably at least semi-interested in this being your career, so I wanted to chat about it. because if you're ambitious and want to dedicate your life to work, you've picked the best company in America to do it at. I really don't care to hoard a bunch of money and deeply believe in rewarding the people that help the business where it needs to be. But before I get into that, let's talk about the future. As I read this, we have 2 teams that will grow into 4 in the next year and possibly 8 in the next 2 years, and I can't talk about that because James will kill me. We need more leaders in the company. We need hardworking, obsessive, coachable, intelligent writers that can step up and take some of the leadership sport over the next 2 years. Every single department has an opportunity for you to go up in your luck, and we don't do yearly reviews. Whenever the fuck you want for reviews. If you want to become a production manager, tell James your intention and ask him why you suck and and you can become better. Seriously, he will give you a list of things that you need to improve to become better and what you need to actually listen and master those things. We will give you a shot at the role. Only problem is most people think they are better than they really are and don't take things seriously, and when we give them things to improve and wonder why they never move up. This isn't a bureaucratic corporate company. You don't have to do something for 5 years to get a promotion. I hate the word promotion. The only sort of major promotion within YouTube is getting verified, and that's it. The more responsibility, risk you help us navigate, and overall bullshit you deal with, the more you make. And if you want more of that we will gladly help train you receive it. There is infinite room for you to go here. There isn't a stepping stone. This is your final destination. We will win, and there are going to build something amazing. I see a world where this company is worth billions one day, and one day tens of billions. I see those of you that help build this will be rewarded. I want nothing more than for you to go all in, obsessive, all day, every day, and become so goddamn valuable for this company and can't operate without you. And in return for becoming so valuable, I hope you give your incredible experiences a fun place to work, and of course more money than you could ever dream of making at any other company. Now read this all over again, because I guarantee you didn't retain enough. Oh, I retained enough, and that is the end of the entire document. That is absolutely everything that is listed on here, except from one thing, which talks about a controversial person. But yeah, that is all 36 pages. That took me like 1 hour and 40 minutes to read, plus a break. Oh my goodness. And it seems that my voice it's not yet dry, even after taking a couple of sips of this. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for if you actually watched all the way through this. I'm gonna be absolutely surprised. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.